fooling around.
Yeah, I just started now. We wait for my this Axelmark 4 reviews. Yeah, I'll probably echo a little because I'm in my old room. I emptied everything out to moved rooms. I have nowhere else to record right now.
No, I see, I see. No problem.
So you have to like bear through it, I guess. So why don't you guys introduce yourselves real quick?
You go first, Hawkeye.
Oh, okay. Sorry, I always wait for people to go first. It's Hawkeye Anime, and I do some theories, and now I'm starting to do some other stuff with anime, like reviews and some reactions. I think I only have one reaction, but I have to do more fellow anime stuff just besides theories.
Yeah, and yeah, what's up, guys? Boris Anime here. Check my channel if you guys are interested in any kind of One Piece or any kind of video game stuff. I do all that. And yeah, today we're probably gonna have a really good discussion about Sabaody, Archipelago, and my personal opinion is my favorite arc. Um, and so yeah, we'll be expecting LegendMac to be showing up soon. I'm not sure if he will or not, but if he joins, man, the stream's gonna get pretty good. So you guys want to stick around for sure. So yeah, what do you guys what do you guys want to cover first?
I don't really know. Cause Sabaody was kind of like, a lot of good stuff happened. So I guess we could start from towards the beginning. I guess the auction hall, because the auction hall was like the huge struggle for a little bit.
Yeah, I think before we cover the auction hall, actually, we should probably just go ahead and start at the very beginning, right? Where they meet up
Yeah,
with
yeah.
Hachi and Kami, just to set it up, right? Because the auction hall is it's one of my favorite top three moments in One Piece, in my opinion. Just me personally, right? It's one of my three
Yeah.
favorite moments. So there's a lot of setup and a lot of tension that gets built up towards towards everything that happens there. So uh, I guess we can start with the first time I guess not the first time, but when the Strides get reunited with Hachi, right?
Yeah.
And Kami and Papago, or however you say it. And this is one of the first times, I'm trying to think. It's one of, well, I guess technically it's not the first time, but it's one of the times where you really miss out if you're not a manga reader. Because in the manga they have the cover stories, and so if you're watching the anime, all of a sudden you see that the Straw Hats, all of a sudden they run into Hachi, right? Like, why is that? It's so random. But if you were a manga reader and you read the cover stories, you would have known that Hachi actually was able to escape and met up with them and made a takoyaki shop, or however you say it. So that's I don't know. That's why I always recommend people who are anime only watchers to read the cover stories. So that's a perfect example right there. Before um, did it catch you? Did you watch the anime first before the manga, Hawkeye?
Yeah, actually, at that point, I was anime only until I think when I started the manga was probably Punk Hazard, like late Punk Hazard.
Yeah,
So
I started like right before that, like at the end of Fishman Island. So it really caught me off guard. I was like, "Oh, what's going on here?
yeah,
Like, is this
I do
supposed to be
like
a
the
bad
manga.
Yeah,
guy?" It turns out to be nice. So, yo, what's up, Mac? You in here yet or not?
I think he's setting up his mic.
I said, that guy, cool. So yeah.
Yeah,
yeah.
he
I
had to get a new
was
one because his
anime
got
only
destroyed.
until
Oh man, I was gonna make a
I
pun.
was anime only until four.
And
Wait, what?
so Marineford, is that thing you said?
Oh yeah, I mean,
Yeah, and moving forward after like everything went down with Ace, I just couldn't help myself to see what was next, and I hopped straight into the manga.
Yeah, from what I've heard, that was like a really big moment in internet in general. That's one of those like Itachi's death and stuff like that. Those are just those moments that even people who
oh,
don't know much about the series, it's like they'll hear about Naruto or they hear about One Piece. And
oh
moments like
god,
that. So
no,
I know.
but
Yeah,
I think
yeah, I have a friend who saw only a few episodes in Alabasta, and he liked Ace, and he randomly walked up to me and goes, "Is it true?" And they're all sad.
yeah. I mean, and like Ace, one of those characters that rarely shows up, but like his presence is just so there throughout the entire series, even though he's not there at all. So he's similar to Shanks. Like that's the thing. One cool thing about One Piece, like Shanks, Mihawk, all those guys, they're not really in the series, but their presence you can just feel it there the entire time. Same like
Yes,
Akainu, the
because
Gorosei.
it's the meaning behind the character and what the connections are that really impact them.
Yeah. So they met up with Hachi, and then they arrive on Sabaody,
And
because
Luffy.
everything happens.
Is that where Luffy asked the mermaid if she can poop?
Yeah, yeah. Maybe. I think so, actually. Yeah.
Kami!
What's up, Legend?
What's up, Boris? What's
But
up,
dude, long time, man.
Alright.
Oh man, it's
We
been a
just
minute, I'm not
start.
gonna lie.
We just started, so why don't you introduce yourself, Mac?
Hey everybody, I'm TheLegendmac and I'm on anime. I said anime for a second, my bad. I'm an anime and manga reviewer and I'm really happy to be in the stream about that. My favorite arc, that's Sabaody greatness. Let's go.
Yeah, this arc is insane.
Oh my
And
god.
again, there's so much more. Like, we want to talk about the auction house and stuff. So there's a lot of it. There's a lot of stuff that leads up to that. So we're starting at the beginning of the arc,
Oh, okay.
right? And so at the beginning, right? So they land there, and I can't remember exactly when they're looking for the code, right? The ship coder
Oh
in the
yeah.
beginning.
You're
I'm
looking
trying
for
to
the
remember the
Something like
order
that.
that everything happens in, right? Because the
I just remember them fishing up Climby and they went straight to Hachi. I don't remember what really started that though.
yeah, but I just do remember the warning, right? So as soon as we get that warning that Luffy's not to touch the celestial dragon, right? Even if
Yeah,
you know,
Hachi's the one who tells them even if you see someone die, don't touch them.
yeah. And so right off the bat, there's like, something's gonna go down, man, because Luffy, right? You start wondering, what if he actually does confront one of these guys? Like, what is Luffy gonna do, man? Because I can see him doing both. At the time, I could see him doing both. Either hitting him or not hitting him. And so I was really like wondering what's gonna happen. And then
I think we should address the flying fish riders a little bit first before we actually go into the arc because they're playing
yeah, they
important
play a
role.
big role. Yeah, the Duval. So uh, Oda, man, he's a genius when it comes to these things. He said like he takes these running gags and makes something really important out of them, like time after time. So the whole idea of Sanji's poster, looking all weird, if it actually comes into play in a big fashion.
Oh my
So
god.
did you guys remember like when they first showed Duval in the anime? Like I think it was like at the end of an episode or something, and you see like a small glimpse. Like, dude, this guy looks threatening, right?
Yeah, I thought it was like, cause they're like, yo, you have seen me before. He was like, you have seen me before. So I thought he was gonna be like some former villain or something. Like I
Yeah.
thought he had a grudge with Luffy, or I didn't expect Sanji and him to have some beef, yo. It was crazy.
I thought he'd be strong, but Sanji pretty much, wiped the floor.
So Sanji gave them an extreme makeover, yo.
Yeah.
Career into space. Oh, actually, if you remember, that's one of the first time Luffy used hockey unknowingly.
Oh yeah, yeah, he intimidated
The
that what is
bull,
And he
it?
was it?
stopped the
Ow.
yeah and like everyone stopped like no and everyone like what the hell did you just do, Luffy?
Yeah, but
Sorry about that because that actually threw me off big time.
yeah, I mean, it was pretty crazy what happened because, like, like I said, they were like, I thought that he was going to be a threat. Then, he sort of owed his life back to Sanji, I guess, since he becomes like a new person, transforms. So that's going to end up playing a huge part in the next a couple arcs actually. So the flying fish, I mean, those guys, we don't know if they're going to be relevant going forward, but they're definitely an important part of the story to that point. So I guess
Yeah.
do you guys want to talk
Who do
about?
y'all think he was?
Go ahead.
Before we talk about that, when they like how you said they had beef with in the past, who do y'all think he was?
Yeah.
Because I actually thought that he was going to be Don Krieg due to his like they had a shadow of him like his body size, like his type of body, like he had a bigger body build. I thought Don Krieg was back, and I was like, oh.
I thought it was gonna be Captain Morgan, Axan Morgan, Revenge or something like that. Yeah, it had to. Yeah, I'm not gonna lie, it had to be someone like I thought it was gonna be someone like with a strong build that we've seen before. Man, he's trolling. He was trolling man. This guy, some new ass character that we've seen before. So shout out to Sanji's bounty poster and shout out to that malfunctioning camera that messed up.
Yeah, and of course, that's I'm sure it's gonna play some big part later on in the story. And we've talked about this plenty of times. I know me and Mac have. So I can't wait to see how that ends up playing out. But with that said, let's go to Sabaody again, and then let's talk about how the whole idea of Arlong, like it's all these little things, man, that made me appreciate One Piece. So you had Arlong Park, right? One of the first arcs in the story, the first major arc, in my opinion, which represents. Well, now we know what it represents. Although I'm not sure if Oda intended it back then, but the way he played it is pretty incredible because it represented the fisherman's sort of desire to be able to visit. I forget what the park is called. You remember what the park is called in Sabaody?
It's like the carnival place. I forgot what it's
Yeah.
called.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about.
I don't know what it's called, but essentially Arlong Park is a reflection, right? It was Arlong wanting to be able to go there, and all the other fishermen as well, but being unable to because of the risks.
Yeah, they showed them as kids, always watching like in the nighttime. It was pretty sad
So,
in my life if you think about it that way.
It was pretty crazy, that I was able to do that. So it makes you kind of feel less bad for Arlong, although you still feel pretty bad for him. But
Yeah.
it's like so it's kind of cool. I like that sort of reversal of roles. So now it was Arlong, dominating over humans. Now it's the real reason that it happened is because his revenge over the humans that were dominating him, and being unable, him being unable to do stuff that he wanted to do just for being a fisherman. So. I thought that was pretty cool.
Yeah, that was cool because you finally see why Arlong is that glimpse of why Arlong is that way. With the whole connection with the whole park situation. Like he's still a bad dude. Like he's still an evil dude, but you can tell why. You see a little more why he's like that. So it's crazy. I'm not gonna lie. Shout out to Arlong. Oh my gosh. Shout out to Oda for doing that, yo.
Yeah, there's so many things like that in this arc. So many cool sort of not reveals. I don't call them reveals, but mini reveals, sort of.
Oh yeah, well that reminds me. I was telling Mac this yesterday on Facebook, and I'd totally forgotten. But Doflamingo, because Dressrosa was a major arc. We've been in a while, and he played a major role then. But he's had his little cameos every now and then. And in Sabaody, towards the end, I guess it was a little glimpse of him talking about his business, saying that human trafficking are old news, and says start smiles. I thought that was pretty funny how he tied in the future, two arcs behind, and many arcs behind actually. He said pretty much what's gonna happen,
Yeah. I mean, Oda has all this stuff planned, man. Sometimes people don't believe me, but I'm telling he has all the major plot points already planned out. At least I'd say 5 to 6 years ahead of time. I'm sure he has the next. Sorry about the dog, but I'm sure he has the next 5 to 6 arcs planned out ahead. Obviously, he doesn't know every detail. That's the whole point of the writing, right? He goes through, and that's why he takes breaks and stuff, so he can figure out the small details.
That's why it scares me, yo.
I feel like he didn't start planning ahead until Alabasta.
Yeah, I mean, he started planning ahead, but not to the extent that he does after Alabasta. Because obviously, we talked about this before. We saw Jinbei. Back in East Blue, we talked about the warlords, the emperors, talked about all that stuff. Actually, the emperors, I can't remember when they revealed the emperor. Maybe that might have been later on. But,
I think the emperors were after Annie's lobby.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. After Annie's lobby, yeah, when Garp shows up.
Yeah.
Maybe, but there was a lot of foreshadowing, a lot of small stuff that I just randomly find on Twitter. That even I haven't caught yet. So it's pretty crazy anytime you catch something like that. So.
Yeah, I see some random stuff on Facebook too. I seen remember how Law's his first outfit in Sabaody, how he had his the bear paws on his hat and then his pants, and I seen a random post where they're comparing Kuma and Law's clothing and trying to see if there's a relation there. I don't know if that was looking too much into it, but it was just random. I never even noticed that until I seen it on social media.
Yeah, speaking of Papa Goes in this arc, I remember seeing a post about Crimin, or however you say it, his
Crimson. His
clothing brand. I saw pictures they had that really back in the early days of One Piece. He drew that a long time ago, so that's kind of cool to see stuff like that too. I can't remember how early he did it, but I remember someone because the One Piece podcast are doing a read through, and so a lot of the fans and stuff they're posting pictures and stuff, cool the foreshadowing and stuff that they didn't notice yet, and then so a lot of those I'm oh wow, I haven't noticed that either. So.
Now, were the supernovas? Was this the first time them being introduced? Right? They never had any appearances
Yeah, first
prior.
time them ever being mentioned.
Huh.
And
Hype.
it's a big
Yes,
plot twist. It actually
just
is
the
a
first
huge
time.
twist. Because at this point, you're like, Luffy is super strong, right? How can any rookie be stronger than Luffy?
Oh
You
my
can't.
gosh. It
But
scared
then
me, yo.
Shocky like nonchalantly just says, "You're only number two, right?" And Chopper starts freaking out. Everyone, Usopp starts freaking out.
Shout out to my boy Kid.
And then like, how is that even taught? Like, not even them can like understand why it is. And to be honest, we still haven't seen too much of Kid yet.
Oh yeah.
Not gonna lie, we still haven't seen too much of Kid, so we still don't know. I still don't know what he's capable of. I'm sure he's capable of a lot of stuff, but
That's
you
what I was
know,
saying.
Yeah,
Like,
all we saw was glimpse of his
I was,
power is mostly personality.
yeah, I was doing a joke like, what if I was like, why, Oda, why didn't we get a Caesar clown or a Hody, you know? Why gotta give a Kaido right off the bat, yo? I was joking like the latest chapters because, like, I just want to see like, I want to see Kid not go. I just want to see some of his moves, new moves from time because like with Luffy and like we're seeing some laws, like we see some of their new moves what they have grown since 2 years ago and since Sabaody. Like we haven't seen nothing from Kid, Apu, Hawkins, Killer. We haven't seen his Killer. Like even Killer interests me because that man went on some straight steroids, yo. He gained 100 pounds of bulk, yo. He's a new person, yo. So it's crazy. I really want to see some of these supernovas new attacks, yo. And
yeah, I did too, man.
why it's crazy, yo.
I don't know.
I was gonna ramble on.
Hopefully we'll see some soon, though.
Yeah, hopefully. Oh my gosh, please. Poster so hype.
Yeah, for sure.
Literally, all of their powers were just given to us, like hinted to us, just in this arc, like quickly, like all these characters, and then well, here's a little bit of their powers, but you don't know anything about them really. So
Oh yeah, especially Bonnie. Like, oh my gosh, Bonnie was like one of, like what the hell? Like,
yeah, it's a weird power.
yeah, it just shows you babies everywhere.
She
And her
did save
transforming?
Zoro. Well, I mean everybody technically, but
Oh yeah.
Well, it was like babies and old men, like they're both aged both directions.
So let's see what people are saying here in the chat real quick. Let's see. Oda can be blunt sometimes. Hachi's basically 8. Oh yeah, yeah. The naming is yeah, because Hachi literally means 8 in Japan, or Japanese, I mean. So pretty. You see that with a lot of names. It's kind of ridiculous. Let's see.
well, he's going for like 8 legs, like 8 sword style type stuff, isn't he?
Yeah, it's just like if someone was named literally 8 in like English.
Oh
You had
yeah, yeah.
Aider, right? You had Aider who was in Dragon Ball. He's like the android number 8. But
Oh,
in terms of like, it's just weird, right? It's something that I think it actually is more of a Japanese thing. It might be more common over there because I think I do see it a lot in like animes, like that kind of naming where it's like he says blunt, but it's not something we really do over here. So, but obviously, yeah, it's like it's not a bad name for him, not by any means. It's Lost clothing could be reference to the fact that he has a Minkman in his crew, maybe. But yeah, Law man. So here's the thing, dude. The Supernovas play such a big role in the series, and they're going to continue to play such a big role in the series. And it's one of those things where I was super hyped when they first revealed them. I'm not going to lie. I was super hyped. I love introduction of big groups, and especially being that they're strong. Like one of them is at least stronger, is not stronger than Luffy. So these guys are strong, man. Most of them have bounties higher than Zoro's.
Oh yeah.
So you can expect them to be pretty strong.
And I like with like Law, I'm not gonna lie, Law's introduction. For some reason, I enjoy Law pre-time skip more than post-time skip. Like post-time skip, a lot of people like they love Law. Law's the best, hype of Law. But like for some reason, pre-time skip, when I saw Law's introduction, like I enjoyed him more pre-time skip than post-time. I still enjoy him as a character, but like pre-time skip, he was one of my, I think arguably like him and like Kid, like they were tied because like this man went up to Drake and said, How many people have you killed? Like he just the way he was a savage, yo. Even in the auction hall, like
yeah, Law's my
swagger.
favorite. Law's my favorite character at pre-time skip.
Yeah, he's
Like
just
not like before you guys can probably understand how hyped I was when I saw him become a warlord because I was already like a big fan. Like he was my favorite character up to that point.
Mhm.
So when I saw him do that, I was like, oh my goodness, dude, did they really just do that?
Does Law seem a little different though? Does Law seem a little different from pre-time to post-time? He seems more serious. Like I feel like pre-time he would joke around a little bit more,
He kind of still jokes around with during remember the Flamingo fight, he kept like sort of teasing him and taunting
Oh
him
yeah.
even when
Oh
he was
yeah.
losing.
But
But
yeah, he has some of those too. I'm not gonna lie. I feel like pre-test was more like in my face, and I could tell, like, I think because
yeah,
pre-test I feel like post-time was more of it. 'Cause there's not
th-
situations for him to be able to do that a lot.
exactly. There's more on the line right now, so
Mhm.
he can't really afford to to
Mhm.
not really joke around. But he pretty much one misstep, he's dead. So
Yeah, true. Oh my god.
yeah,
He had like 25 bullets shot at him. It was crazy, yo.
yeah, man. And all the other supernovas too, they all play important roles. But it's one of those things, man, where dude, I don't know how he does it, man. Just one chapter, all of a sudden introduce all these guys,
Oh, like
and
in
they're
anime.
all a big influence. I don't like that's one of those things where I don't know if he actually planned that or not. Like
It's
I really
crazy.
can't
Yeah.
tell.
And remember that OST? That was crazy. Like,
Yeah,
whoa, Scratch Manapoo. Like, Shaki had the best voice for that. Like, she was naming the bounties and everything. I was getting hyped. Like, what the hell? It keeps on going higher and higher and higher. Like, and then after that, I was even getting more hyped because, yo, I'm not gonna lie, Pooh, when he showed Case's power, I'm not gonna lie, I never been jumping up and down like that. For some reason, like, I don't know if it was the music or just the way he was rapping. I don't know, Taicho, Kizaru, Kizaru was crazy. I'm like, check it out. Apu was one of my favorites, introducing his powers. And like, I love how he back to back, like, it was Arujo, Hawkins, Apu, Drake. Like, he gets on showcasing these guys' new powers.
yeah.
Capone, like,
I do that. Like we'll talk about that once we get to the later part of the arc. But it's like
mhm,
you introduce these guys, right? Like whatever, Oda.
mhm,
He won't like sure they're just being introduced right now. That's not really gonna happen. They're like characters for the future, right? We don't even know if Oda will really use them or how they'll use
mhm.
them. They'll probably be just Luffy's rivals, right? That's just what you think, right?
Yeah,
And
that's what I was
later
thinking
on, as
too.
we'll talk later on about it, but all of a sudden, like things get pretty crazy, and they actually play a big part in this arc as well. Like they all, minus one or two of them, really actually they all demonstrate their powers. So
It's
it's pretty
crazy.
crazy. Yeah,
Like, he gave us more than we wanted. I thought we were just gonna get the rivals, and out of nowhere, yo, he's showcasing the powers later on in this arc.
yeah.
I can't lie. I think this is one of. I'm not too sure if it's in your top 5 favorite moments, but I don't know when we're gonna talk about it. But like, yo, Luffy versus Celestial Dragon greatness,
Yeah,
yo.
that was my favorite moment up to that point, and
Oh
it
my
might still be my
gosh.
favorite moment in the series, just because of what it represents symbolically,
Mhm.
and what it represents, I guess, Luffy in terms of what the future of the series holds for him
Mhm.
and
Yo,
what he's
my
capable of.
gosh.
So we'll pretty much get to that. I mean,
Hmm.
let's see. So we get the reveal, right? So we're looking for the other thing is
Dark
Shocky, right?
King.
Yeah, we're looking for the well, yeah. Did he know about it was the Dark King? I don't remember.
I
But
don't. Yeah, he
let's talk
did.
about Shocky. Like she's super old, but she looks super young. So that's another character
Yo,
Oh
I like.
yeah.
okay, I have a
Similar
question for you guys.
to
Shaki or Koreha?
yeah, I was about to say so. Kureha, right? It's another
Uh,
character very similar to her, where it's like she's super old.
But
Something
she's
has to
so.
go down. I'm still. Right now, we know about the immortality. So, and obviously with Grey, because she was a doctor, so it's very possible that she had the operation done on her. So she had plenty of doctors.
Yeah,
Maybe with Shocky, same thing. Maybe not. I don't know, but
maybe it
it's
was
really
like
interesting.
maybe like it was a new hot thing. He was, because the previous OP me, they said he was a famous doctor. So like, what if he was saying, you could, actually no, no, actually no, I caught myself right now because I don't know if he could do that. Maybe the previous because is it like if you use it like you can't do it once you use it you die, right? The
Yeah,
OP me user,
so
yeah.
it's probably like two generations. Like Kureha's older than Shocky probably, so maybe
Mhm.
Kureha and then that's I don't
Yeah.
know, but it's really interesting. I don't know yet, but it's those seeds, right, that you can just see planted. That's going to play a big part. So at some point we have to figure out. I feel like Oda's going to tell us why she's looks so young.
Oh,
So
alright. But I feel like what's crazy? Like when we first saw that Celestial Dragons, like I'm not gonna lie, I was disgusted by them. I hated them. Like I I never hated like people like as much as I hated the Celestial Dragons. Yo, like there's people you dislike, and then there's people you just hate. You can't get past it. Like the way they treat like they have slaves on leashes, walking up and down, kicking them. Yo, like
uh,
oh man, I despised them. Yo, what was you guys thoughts on like when you first saw them? Yo, when
I,
Luffy and them had to control themselves.
I wanted Zoro to cut him in half. Honestly, I didn't even care if it was bloody. I just want him to die. Like fuck you. I can't. That one, honestly, I hate the way they treat people, and they get away with it because of how corrupt like the system is. And I just want the system to be destroyed.
Oh yeah, definitely. Like it's, I can't wait for that day where Dragon walks in and just brings his revolution armies into Mary Joa and just pulls some next level stuff. Yeah.
Yeah, the thing with the system though, I'm not sure if I would call it corrupt because that's how the system is. It's not like I think corrupt implies that the system works a certain way and then it's being operated in a different manner, which
Yeah.
is sort of. But this one, the system is meant for those guys to be able to do whatever they want. Like that is the purpose of the system. So it's pretty ridiculous, you know. That makes you hate it even more. Like it's one thing for it to be corrupt, and another thing for that to be the law of the land, you know. So it's like, you know, it sucks, and then you know at some point, you know, Luffy's gonna have to fix it. So right, you know, you just know Luffy's gonna be partly responsible for, and that, yeah.
I think the Navy is trying to do good, but people like Akainu push too far, and people like the world government really just take advantage of everything. They get their own way. So like,
Yeah, there's always gonna be good Marines, bad Marines, for sure.
yeah,
There's even good Celestial Dragons, bad ones. We saw with, you know, Homing that he wanted to be good, he wanted to be a human, but
yeah. Unfortunately, that didn't work out, which I was crying.
yeah. So yeah, that's just, you know, that's a good lesson. You know, don't, you know, things can't always be ideal. Wait, where did Tyler go? Tyler? He'll be back soon. Probably just lagging out. But let's talk about the auction house then. Talk about the auction house. Because when Zoro was about to cut the Celestial Dragon, you know, we were about to, oh crap, man, I wanted to see that, but it didn't happen. So
I kind of love the commentary though. The commentary is pretty sick. That's the right hand man. I wonder who's the captain is. When Rouge said that, I was pretty hyped too. I'm not gonna lie. They didn't even see Luffy yet.
Yeah, so man, the auction house, dude, there's a lot of stuff going on there. Obviously, we don't have to go over all the stuff. You know, the list of animal or list of creatures. You know, that plays an important role.
Hey, they were selling belly dancers, everything. They were like, oh, $1, $2, $3, $4. Can I get? I don't want to make jokes about it because it's you know there's life, but it was crazy. I'm not gonna lie.
So apparently, Fodder Hatchie, which I felt bad for him getting shot, knew Rayleigh. And that actually caught me by surprise, because I'm thinking Rayleigh's some like person where he'd want to stay out of public eye, but he's just sitting there coding ships for people. So.
Yeah. Did they explain where they met? I forgot.
Yeah, he saved Rayleigh.
He said Rayleigh, or Rayleigh said.
Rayleigh's in the ocean, and he saved him.
Oh, okay, good.
Really?
Yeah.
How long ago was it? Because I remember he literally killed the king underwater.
I remember Hachi was like 10 years old or like 8 years old. He was around that age.
Yeah, when he was a kid, I remember that. I think.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. So, yeah, I think.
Yeah, like.
Yeah, just questions. Yo, that's another question.
There's no words. There's no words to describe how happy I was.
Yeah.
When and the sad thing was it was like 3 a.m. at night, so I couldn't scream or anything.
Mm-hmm.
I had to like keep it in because everyone's sleeping, right? It was like I was so happy, dude, because I didn't think. That's one of the ones where I really didn't think. You know, Luffy was gonna. You know, normally in these type of animes, shonen animes, what happens is that someone shows up who's you know, yeah, who you're not allowed to, like a general, a commander, or something like that. Someone who represents evil and corrupt.
Yeah.
You know, system, or whatever, and then
defends the
guy can't do anything. Like he literally can't, because you know he'll put someone at risk. That's the typical thing. Like, oh, you know, if I do it, my friends will be at risk, whatever. Luffy doesn't care, man. Luffy has trust in his friends.
Yes, and it was funny because like
I can take on an admiral. No, like, whatever. Let's.
Hey, shout out to my favorite part in the series, yo. Luffy versus 3 admirals. Back to the regular schedule program.
Yeah, Luffy doesn't care, dude. Luffy doesn't care.
He has no chill, yo. The funny thing is, like, I love how they built it up. Dad, you just walking the stairs, like,
yeah.
I'm like, is this actually gonna happen?
Is he really gonna do it?
Like, what the hell's happening right now? And when he did it, it went to the manga panel. That's how bad it was. You know what crazy moment? The anime switches into the manga panel. It was like, yeah. Even Oda's like, you guys can't handle this in anime. Yo, stop that. Bring it back to my story, yo. Original material.
Screw that Toei animation, man. Go back to the manga pen.
They're like, you know what, this is so bad. They're like, yo, we don't even want to mess this up, yo. Just put the manga panel in there, yo, and move it off it. We don't want to mess it up.
So yeah, dude, that was pretty crazy.
Oh my god.
And then not even there's like everything else that goes on. That's just the beginning.
Zoro was supposed to do. Zoro had his sword already, and like the whole crew had the like
I don't know.
already.
Yeah, that's one of my
Yeah.
favorite like sort of pan shot. I think this is a pan shot, right? Where you just go through different straw hats. It gives you
Yeah.
sort of Venice lobby feel again,
Oh yeah.
where it's just like
And like
they're ready. You know, they